What's going on, Talkadot Pro family? Aurel Moody here. This training is actually going to look a little bit different than the other trainings, simply because I did the entire training for all of our community and forgot to hit the record button. I did a 2020 mistake in 2023. So what I'm going to do is go over the content portion of what we covered, and then someone pointed out to me I wasn't recording, and then I hit record to record the Q&A portion of it. So you'll see this portion of it looks one way, and then I'm going to splice together the Q&A. So that's why this one looks a little bit different than the rest of them. So with that said, let's jump in to this training, which is going to be a super valuable one, because what we're going to be talking about today is specifically how to use cold email outreach. Now, as content experts, as evidence-based speakers, we're not celebrities. So yes, it's wonderful when leads come to us, but doing outbound and reaching out is still one of the greatest ways to build a successful speaking business. And we get questions all the time. How do I reach out to people? What do I say? What do I do? Well, we got that answer for you. So in the document that you should already have had access to that shows you the exact template email to send to get rebooked, you can see this for number one, and how to reach out to the leads that you have within Talkadot. There's a third section that we added, which is cold outreach email. So all you gotta do is click on that link, and it'll bring you down on that document to this. Now, this is a formula that's so simple, you might think it's too easy, but don't let simplicity fool you. Sometimes the most complex things actually appear really simple. So what we have here for you is an example of 3 different email subjects that you can use: upcoming conference, looking for speakers for X event, the name of the event, or question about X event, okay? That's the email subject, short. You're gonna notice that this whole email, this is the cold outreach email, super duper short, but it's very strategic and very specifically put together. Now, this is a template that was provided to me by a guy named Ron Story Jr., who's an incredible guy who sent hundreds of thousands of cold emails on behalf of speakers. He showed me this template. I was blown away by it. It's the one that I'm using now because it is so wildly effective because of what I'm about to break down to. So let me break down why it's packing so much of a punch in such a short little email, okay? So the first thing that you want to know is everything is super simple. It's short. The reason why is that the majority of people are reading things on their phones nowadays. So if you send someone a super long email, I want you to think about how you respond when you probably get a super long email. You open the email, you scroll. If it's a lot of text, you kind of go to yourself, I'll get to this later. You hit mark as unread and you'll get back to it. And then maybe you do, or most likely what happens is you forget about it. Okay. If it's super simple and I think I can make a quick answer now, it actually increases the likelihood that you'll get positive responses. So first thing we do is email. I searched online and found blank. If there's a conference, a leadership training, or something that's coming up, you just insert whatever the name of it is. Okay. So that breaks down how you found them. Then you say, are you still looking for speakers for this event or for a future event? It's very clear in what you're asking. You're now saying, I would love to be considered. So you have a very clear ask, what's being considered? And then, are you open for a quick 10-minute conversation? This is giving them the chance to jump onto the phone. Now, a lot of people say, can't I just put a calendar link? Can't I just link to my website, or link to my speaking demo, or link to my speaking kit? No. That's not what this first email is. This first email is just to gain a conversation. Now, if they say they want to meet with you, then you can go to the calendar link, but that doesn't start in this email. Now, this is where the magic happens, okay? You have a signature here, okay? Signature has like a picture of your face. So this is a picture of me that you see right here. It's got your name. It's got your LinkedIn profile, super important. I'm going to explain why. It's got an actual phone number that can reach you, which is super important. It's got your website and then your Talkadot URL with a little call to action if you'd like to put. The reason why this is so powerful is because of this. This top half really is the name of the game. This is like what the email is. But if someone's like, okay, the picture intrigues me, right? So make sure you put like, don't put like a horrible picture of yourself. Like, I trust you, you're a professional. You'll know what's a good picture of yourself, right? So they can get a sense of who you are by your face. Now, the reason why the LinkedIn profile is so valuable is because a lot of people want to get a sense of a vibe of who you are. Don't you want to do that if you're researching someone? Like, what's this person about? So they know that a website is like a brochure. It's like a catalog. But your LinkedIn profile is kind of like who you are. I can see who you know, I can see who your connections are, I can see what you post about. So lots of people, based upon research, click your LinkedIn profile. If they're going to click a link, they're going to click your LinkedIn profile, because this is how they get a sense of, are you legit? So make sure you're posting about things that are of interest and relevant. Obviously, it's LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn has actually become one of my favorite social media platforms lately, because there's no fighting, there's no bickering, there's no arguing happening on LinkedIn. It's people posting useful content. So it's actually like the beauty of what social media is supposed to be. So I've been sleeping on LinkedIn, but it's actually really, really, really good. Okay. Then you have a phone number. The reason why the phone number is important is because you want them to know you can be reached via the phone. You're a real human. That's super, super important. It can be a direct line. It can be a Google phone number. It could be an 800 number. I use Grasshopper as my 800 service, so all my 800 numbers get sent directly to my phone. And then I've got here, a link to my Talkadot profile, which has my content, my excuse me, my data and feedback from what people have said about me. Now, if someone is interested in you, they will click on all these links, but they're typically going to start with LinkedIn. Okay, so how do you create a signature like this? I like to use something called Y Stamp. I'll show you what my Y Stamp looks like. It's free, so that's really nice. They do have some upgrades, obviously, if you want to upgrade to like more premium features. But here is what my Y Stamp looks like. It's got the picture of me here. It's got my name. It's got my phone number, my website, my email, my Talkadot link, and then my LinkedIn with the little icon right there. So it just inserts it automatically into my email signatures for me. So all I have to do is send this top part right here. Now, if you want a formula for how to send out these emails, if you want to like maybe customize it or make your own, this is basically the template here. So your first sentence is, tell them how you got their info. Remember, they don't know who you are, so you want to explain, I found you on LinkedIn, I was recommended to you by a friend, someone I know spoke there, I found you online. Just tell them why you know who they are. Sentence 2 is, get to the point of what you want. So they don't know you. This is a transactional email. So you're reaching out with a very specific reason. Okay. Then in 3 to 4 sentences, you can tell them what value you bring, right? So no more than 2 sentences, not paragraphs, not long things. So if you want to talk about your content or something like that, if that feels appropriate to you, do that within a very short 2 sentences. And then you ask for a quick phone call. Now, some really cool tips is that leave out the niceties. So they know they're not typically genuine. So you say, oh my gosh, I looked at your page. I love the cool stuff you're doing. Unless it's genuine and you can find something really specific that you do, writing a generic, I love what you do, does not land well, because you've received it, I've received it, and we know it's not. We know it's not sincere. They get a lot of messages. They know it's not sincere. And then put spaces between their emails to make it easier for them to read on their phone, because many people are checking email on their mobile devices. Okay. Now, this is the template. You have access to this, so go ahead and reach out to it. In the email that I sent you that has this video, I also have this link here and all the other links that I'm referencing on this particular session. And we also have your next list of leads. So we actually have 200 leads for you this time. Look at it. These are all events that are looking for speakers. So if you go back to this original document and go all the way at the top, you'll see we have the first lead list of 100 people, and then these are 200. So look on this document, see if there's any organizations or groups that look like they're a good fit for you, and go ahead and shoot them the email. You've got a quick, simple email that you can send. And if you're unfamiliar with your Talkadot profile link for any reason, and hopefully you know about the Talkadot profile link, this is what it is. It's talkadot.com/s/whatever your username is. And this has all of your content on it. So you've got your overall data of everything put together. You've got your top attributes based on what people have rated you. You've got a little bit about who you are, and then a link to all of your previous presentations. So this is actually really, really cool. So people can click and see like, oh, you just gave a speaking engagement. Let's see what it's about. And they can click on it and see your data and what people have to say. So it's all in your signature, all done for you. Now, I want to share a little cool features about LinkedIn and how if you want to go to a premium version of LinkedIn, it opens up a lot of cool features. So the first thing that LinkedIn does, which like we all have access to, is you can see how many connections you have. So you have 9,000 connections. That's actually pretty cool, right? Like I didn't realize I can see how many connections, contacts I have. So you can access that by going to linkedin.com/my network. It just gives you a little bit of a snapshot of your network. Now, if you get a premium account, which is this one right here, you can actually see who's viewed your profile. So I think that's actually a pretty cool feature, because like on Facebook, you don't know who's viewed you, or Instagram, you don't know who's viewed you unless they've interacted with you. With this, I can get a sense of who are the people that are checking me out. Now, if there's anyone that's coming to my page that might be, like, hey, maybe the office manager of, IdeaCraft, that might be someone I want to say, oh, hey, just want to reach out to you. And then it's like, oh man, what a coincidence. I was just looking at your page. So if there's ever someone who could book you that's looking at your LinkedIn, you can find out and reach out to them, and they'll probably be excited that you did, and they'll feel like it's serendipity. Now, where LinkedIn really will help you find leads at a very high level is something called LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a paid for service. It's like $75 to $100 a month or something like that. You can 100% get a free trial and give it a shot. But here's what you can do on LinkedIn Sales Navigator that is really fascinating if you're unaware of how it works. You can actually search LinkedIn Sales Navigator for very, very specific titles, and they'll give you lists of people. So let's say, for example, so I know that, let's say I want to reach out to people who are certified SHRM professionals, okay? So I can type in SHRM, which is the Society of Human Resource Management, and then CP, Certified Professional. I think that's what it stands for. And the reason why that's cool is because if I'm targeting HR professionals who I want them to bring me in to speak to their people, well, I can do a quick search on LinkedIn, and I can see that there's 91,000 people that fall into this category. So that's a lot of people to potentially, send a cold email to. Now, what you can do also to narrow down your list so it's not so big is you can use these filters. So maybe you want to do a very specific geography. Maybe you just want people in the, New York, for example. So let's say New York. So I just want people in New York. I just want people, and let's say seniority level. I just want senior people in New York. And let's say human resource. Yeah, let's go human resource. That's fine, right? Because we're looking at HR professionals in this hypothetical situation. So we go senior level HR, and let's go industry. Maybe I just want to go after, I don't know, financial services. Okay, cool. I want to go after financial services. That sounds good. Include. Boom. Now I've narrowed down my list to 127 people, right? Which is actually pretty good. That's a very manageable list. Now I can just click select all. And if I wanted to, I can manually go down and look at each one and, verify if I like them or not. I can go save to a list here. So let's create a new list and call it SHRM, and then do create and save. Bingo, bango, just like that. Now, once they're saved, I can go over to my leads category right here and then click on SHRM, the one I just created. Now, I have a plugin that's called Wizza, okay, or wizza.co. That's how you get it right here. You can add it as a Chrome extension, and it connects to your LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You can see this purple button. If you're looking at your LinkedIn Sales Navigator and you haven't included Wizza, that purple button won't be there. So you add it as a Chrome section, and then I can click select all if I want, and then export leads with Wizza. So I click export leads, and now for me, I just want their email, and they have different different pricing plans, right? So it's not a free tool, Wizza. So there are lots of different services, lots of free trials out there. So if you want to try around, but what Wizza does, so you're aware of why I'm using it, is Wizza will automatically take everyone from this LinkedIn list, scrape their email from the internet. Let's do email only. So I'm just going to call it SHRM New York, right? So it'll find their work email, their personal email, their generic email. I go ahead and hit next steps, start scan now, and then it starts working its magic, right? So you can see right here, it's queued up and it's scraping the internet for the list of these 25 professionals who work for SHRM, and it's going to find their email addresses. Now it's doing its magic. I'm not sure how long it'll take, so I'll show you one of these lists. So this is right here, it says event planner. So this is an event planner list. I scraped a bunch of people who identified as event planners, and this particular list had 223 people. But notice this green has 159 valid. So it represents, like, we got 159 emails that we know are good. We've got 52 emails that we think are good. And then, like, this is all the emails we got, right? 223. I personally only download the ones that say valid. I'm not really interested in the ones that are potentially good or maybe good, because you might get a lot of bounce backs and things that, like, will waste your time. Right? So what you really want to do is look for valid emails only. And literally you just download that, it'll export your file, and then boom, you got a CSV file. Then you can take that CSV file and then go back to your handy dandy cold outreach and then shoot them an email and reach out, and then just repeat this process. Now, Ron Story Jr. is a great guy. He's got a wonderful agency. If this whole process seems like something you don't want to do, I'm probably going to bring Ron on to talk about all of the strategies and all the cool things that he does. If anyone's interested in his agency doing work for you, that could be a really great opportunity for you as well. But most importantly, I want you to know how to do it, right? So you might want to watch this part of the video more than once, maybe even twice or something, maybe even 3 times, who knows, right? To get a sense of how to do these strategies. But they're very, very straightforward. It's just grasping them in your brain. It's literally just using one of these 3 optional emails, see which one works for you, copying this part, creating your Y stamp so you have an email signature. So you get your email signature put into your email. We provide a list for you, so if you don't want to scrape anything, we got it, right? You make sure your Talkadot profile is in your, right here, your Talkadot profile is in your email signature as well, so people can see your evidence and your data. And if you'd like, you can add like a call to action right here, like, you know, check out what audiences are saying about Orel's presentations, right? So you can add something like that, or you can add something like check out my data. You know, let's just say, just for fun, right? Check out my presentation feedback and data, right? So boom, oh, that's already interesting. So you can just add that to the signature if you'd like. LinkedIn, again, gives you a sense of how many people you're connected to, and you can obviously reach out to people and connect with them intentionally on LinkedIn. You can also get a sense of who's viewing you. So if there's anyone who's viewing you, you can reach out to them. Then you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find people and put them on a list of potential people you want to reach out to. And again, if you need any support on like what are good titles or what are great people to reach out to, we can happily give you some suggestions if that would be of help to you. And then you can use something like Wizza. It's a Chrome extension right here to then import, and we got right here. Okay, so out of those 25 people, 16 emails. Great. So now I can reach out to 16 people, send them an email, bingo bango, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I hope that this training was helpful for you. This will now give you exactly how to find people, how to reach out to people, and this is all yours because you are a Talkadot Pro user. So please, 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 if you have any speakers or any friends that are not currently Talkadot Pro users and they're using Talkadot Lite, tell them about the value that you're getting. Tell them about what you are getting from this trainings like this and how you can use your data and your Talkadot to help get you more speaking engagements and be an evidence-based speaker. Okay, so your voice is way more powerful than mine will ever be because you're friends with your friends, right? And maybe I'm friends with your friends, but you're probably friendlier friends with your friends. Okay, so what I want to do now is cut into the Q&A portion. You're probably going to notice me laughing hysterically because I was so embarrassed that I did not actually record this part of it when we did the training. But I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope you really like it. And yeah, let's go into me feeling very embarrassed. For everybody watching this recording, I just want you to know we did a heck of a session. We did a heck of a, there was templates, there was specific technology. It was all wonderful. I recorded none of it. So if you're watching this, we're just doing the Q&A portion now. and we're gonna do a video. Do me a favor, everyone, for everyone who didn't attend live. Wasn't it great? Can we get some
It was
FOMO?
amazing.
This is why you should attend sessions live. All of y'all out here watching recordings on 1.5 speed, you need to be here live to get it in person. Jeez Louise. Okay. Let's go back to questions. I'm still recovering on the inside. I died a little bit. Just a little bit on the inside. Other questions?
But you look fly in your BK, not your British Knights though. You look real fly.
You want to see him, Mimi? I'm looking at him. Hold on. You know what? This is the only way to, at this point, I can't really mess up at this point. I've already messed up. So now I'm just going to do silly things. Hold on.
Oh.
He's getting his swag on, Mimi.
I saw that.
British Knights. Do you see this?
I do. Check you out.
This is because of Mimi right here. She was talking about British Knights and how this changed her life. And I said, golly, I want some British Knights.
Okay.
I got some. That's Mimi gets it. Mimi gets it.
I do.
It was a moment between she and I. And listen, let me tell you everything that's going wrong right now. The sun has completely moved into, look how washed out I am. I got I'm washed out. I'm gonna change my camera to my low quality camera. Oh Lord have mercy. Hold on. Now I got my low quality camera going. I didn't shave. This isn't the greatest day for me. I might have to call a mulligan on this day. I didn't shave.
Dude, I'm barely walking today, Errol. So you're good.
I mean, you definitely you ran 7 hours. I mean, you drove 7 hours and ran. How long? What's your time for your? What's your time, Gina?
We're not talking about that.
We're not. Okay, we're not. You finished. That's what matters. You finished. Okay. All right. Questions.
I got a question for you, Errol.
Thank you for saving me from floundering. I feel like I was drowning in the emotions that I just experienced. What's up, Lawrence?
Okay, so this is completely unrelated to what you just did, but just a general question, maybe you could help out. I have a virtual presentation on Thursday to about 250 people, and I'm just wondering, with using Talkadot, I haven't used it virtually yet. I've used it in person. Do you have any tips, comments about using it virtually? Any tricks, anything that, just compared to in person?
Yeah, I do. So I'm going to do two things real quick. So I'm going to answer your question and give you two resources. Where are you? There we go. View playlist. So I just have to grab something for you. There we go. Boop. Share. Copy. Okay, so number one. So this is I sent that to the wrong person. Sorry for the person I just DM'd. Oh Lord have mercy. Gotta recopy the link. Okay, here we go. Okay, sorry for the delay here. Okay, number one, that link is a YouTube video that is going to basically explain exactly what I'm about to say to you. So if you want to rewatch it, you definitely can. Here's the big difference between in-person and virtual for Talkadot. When you get to your slide, I recommend pasting the link like I just did there for mine into the chat. Okay, I recommend pasting it into the chat. Now, if you want to make your audience's life easier, I don't know if everyone is aware of this new feature, so allow me to demonstrate it to you because this is a little technical, but not too technical. So if you think what I'm about to say is too technical, just ignore this, okay? Now, everyone knows that they can go here and grab your Talkadot link and you can paste it in there. Now, the other thing that you can do is download your slide. Now, here's what some of you may not realize. If you scan this QR code, we actually embed this code into the QR code now. We actually embed it. So if you wanted to actually, so I'll give you an example of what they look like. Talk.ac/Arel equals, all right, code SJCOE. I'm going to give you the thing here. And if this is too techy, feel free to be like, Aurel, stop doing that. So do you see how I typed in this URL and the code was automatically put in? If you want, you can give this link, which is basically talk.ac/your username. And then if you put $code equals, and then whatever is the code that you're giving out to people, if they click on that link, right? And again, they don't need to know this. This is just for you to know. If they click on that link, it'll automatically pull up your feedback form with your code pre-populated, okay? So the reason why that's beneficial is if you're doing a virtual presentation example, Lawrence, and let's say your code is, law, you would put talk.ac/Lawrence $code equals law. When they click on it, this is automatically populated. If me giving you that code freaked anyone out and they're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. Disregard it. Just give them your normal link in the chat and then tell them to type in the word leads. That's the only difference. So again, this little code equals, it just allows people to click on a link and not have to enter a code. So if you just said, hey, did you find this talk valuable? Click on the link in the chat and give me your feedback as a thank you for giving me your feedback. At the end of the feedback form, you'll get access to this cool thing. If you don't use that little extra code, just tell them click on the link in the chat and then put in the code, SJCOE or leads or whatever is your code right here on step 2, and then ask them to give the feedback. Now, this is a small thing, but an important thing. If you type this into the chat without the HTTP, you don't get a clickable link. I don't know if you can see that right there, Lawrence. It's just text. That's annoying to people. They don't want to copy and paste. I know we live in a world where it's like, is that really that hard? Yes, people don't want to do it. So if you add the HTTP : it makes it clickable, and then people can click on it and then pull up your feedback directly. So the only big difference between in-person and virtual is I put the link into the chat and I tell people to click on it. And then the other thing that I do differently is I say, when you're done filling out the feedback form, type the word done in the chat so I know that you're finished, and I'll leave you with one final thought. So typically what I do in person is I say, when you're done giving your presentation, put your phone down and look up so I know that you're finished. In the virtual world, I say click on the, I still show this slide, by the way. I don't not show the slide. I show the slide and I say click on the link in the chat, and when you're done giving me your feedback, do me a favor, write the word done in the chat so I know you're done, and I'll leave you with one final thought. And then when I start seeing done, like you'll start seeing this like kind of mass dones start coming in, you can get a sense that most people are done, and then you move on to your final thoughts. And during that period of time, I just sit there and hold the space. Sometimes I might write down, any notes or anything to myself that I want to say, but I just sit there and hold the space. And it's easier for me in the virtual world because I'm just sitting right here. I just be quiet. And literally, I'm going to do this at the end of this section, so you'll see it in real time. So that was like a lot, but hopefully helpful.
No, very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Adam, I see your hand up, and then Odell. Adam, are you there?
Can you hear me okay?
You asked me if I can hear you okay, but I can't really hear you. It's like a little robotic.
Now can you hear me?
This is better. Yes, this is better.
Okay, is this good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is also a little bit off topic, and if now is not the right platform for it, let me know, and maybe I'll do it a different call. But if it is, great. Just a general Talkadot question. So, high level, how should we be digesting the Talkadot results? So, when we give a talk, like, and I know every person who uses Talkadot kind of in the same boat. You give a talk on Talkadot and you get your results. What percentage is, wow, this is a great talk? What percentage is, this is okay, but the audience didn't necessarily love it? And then similarly with feedback, how are we supposed to process that? Where it's like, um, what is it where obviously you're never going to please everyone, but how do you look at it where when someone says, hey, I really didn't like this, and they give you specific things that they didn't like, you sort of look at it, and it completely conflicts with someone else who says, I loved it, this was amazing. How do you digest that where you say, well, on the one hand, I want to really take in the feedback, but on the other hand, I'm never going to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
So
great question. Great question.
Where's sort of the line? Where's really the line between understanding this is feedback that I need to take in to improve, and I'm just never going to make everyone happy, and I shouldn't beat myself up.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to answer both of those questions as best I can. So the first question is to really understand what's your baseline, right? So these are my past talks, right? And again, I'm very grateful and I'm very honored that I get my ratings and reattend rates can be, 100%, 90%. So like I'm getting 90s and 100s. I'm really, really grateful for that. So the first thing is there is no number that you should get. There's what's your baseline. So if you do Talkadot and you're averaging 80%, 85%, 70%, that's the most important thing. What do I typically get? And then what you're trying to do is how do I get that score to go higher? How do I get that score to go up? So that's where you might say, okay, and again, like one of the things that we tend to do as speakers is we tend to compare sometimes. So sometimes it's not good to compare. So like, let's say like this talk, like I did this talk and I got a 91%. Now, if I normally got 70% and I got a 91% on my rating, well, hot diggity dang, that's really good. But if I normally get 98% and I got a 91%, then I want to go, dang, what did I do wrong here? Like, is there anything like valuable in this feedback that, I think would be helpful? So this person gave me feedback that says it was too much info too fast. Now, this is a piece of feedback I get all the time. I talk fast, right? So I'm like, bang, bang, and I'm like, I want to cover a lot and I'm so excited about it. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to go, okay, well, maybe I need to be aware that when I speak, like, so for example, I'm aware that when I speak in like Southern states, and this is no disrespect to my Southern brothers, like when I speak in Southern states, I know they think I speak fast because I'm from New York. So I try to consciously be aware of that if I can. So if I get too much too fast, I've noticed that whenever I speak in rural places or Southern places, I get that feedback. Now, when I look at this place, Scapney, they're in a rural spot of New York. So again, it might be one of the reasons why my value rating was lower is simply because I spoke too fast. So can I lower my speech? Yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. So the first thing is get your baseline. That's number one. Number two, I'll give you a great example of, let me log back in my account here. Hold on. Okay. So now the next question is, well, what if you get feedback? And let me find one where people like tore into me a little bit. Where was it? What was it called? Oh, hold on. Wait. I remember it. Oh, I remember. Here, this one. So I gave this presentation. And look, 98%, it was 343 people, which was great. 98% found it valuable. 97%, but like lots of people were saying things like, this talk was missing humility. Some caveat to the introverted folks. Okay, so here's what I want to then ask myself. Can I do something about that? Like this person thought I wasn't humble enough. Okay, is that actionable feedback for me? Well, that's kind of hard for me to say. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. However, this person said, hold on, where was it? Hold on, let me click here. I remember a bunch of people said this in my talk. Oh Lord have mercy, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. This is helpful because I think this is good. Hold on, not this one. This one. Yeah, okay. So this person says, please stop saying tribe. I'm personally not indigenous, but I previously worked with tribal community colleges, and the word tribe is special for them. After taking so much from this population, the least we can do is respect them and not use the word tribe. Then this person said, I would refrain from the use of tribe when describing a group of people, with the majority of persons not being black, indigenous, or other colored people. This person, you really need to lose tribe language in your speech. It's culturally insensitive. I was like, golly, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I'm out here using a word. So can I not use that word and use a different word so I'm not offending people accidentally? Yes, 100%. So when you look at feedback, you're looking for, can I be actionable about it, right? Now, if someone says, I didn't like this talk because of option A, like I think it was too boring. Well, I can't really do anything with boring unless I say something like, well, do I need to do more interactions? Do I need to do more, like maybe I am talking too much. I need to do interactions. So I can review it. But if someone says to me like, yo, Arel, I thought your humor was bad because I tell dad jokes. Like, for example, do you know why dark is spelled with K, Mimi? Because you can't see in the dark.
That was terrible, but it was funny.
See what I do that all throughout my talk. I love that. I love dad jokes. So there's gonna be a bunch of people who are like, yo, you suck. Stop telling those dad jokes. And I'm like, I like telling dad jokes. I get tons of people who say, I love your dad jokes, dude. Like, you want, I keep going. I don't want to. I keep going. You know, I bought a shirt and it had a lot of static cling. So I took it back to the store and they gave me one free of charge. See what I did there? See what I, all right. Some people are going to log off after that one. I apologize. Anyway, so like those jokes make me happy, right? So I get a bunch of people that say, yo, we love your dad jokes. I also get a bunch of people that say those dad jokes are terrible, right? I personally am not going to stop telling dad jokes. I like them. Yeah, Odell was definitely like that. You know, so Odell would have, he's the guy, right? Like he's going to give the feedback like terrible, absolutely terrible. So anyway, so the feedback has to be something you can take action on, that you're willing to change and you're open to change, right? If you can't take action on it, like, oh, Adam, I didn't like your muscles, they're too big. Well, I'm not going to stop going to the gym, right? So like, I can't do anything with that feedback. If someone says, I don't like your dad joke. Now, if everyone started saying your dad jokes are distracting, then I might consider stopping. But because I personally like them, I'm not going to stop them. But if I have like the word tribes, I can change that word. That's no problem.
Okay, no, that's very helpful. What about if someone just doesn't like your style and doesn't like your?
How do they say it? What is the actual feed? Is it, do they say I just didn't like the way he spoke, or did they say I didn't like this specific one?
I'll give you. Okay, I'll be like very concrete. So like today, for example, I gave a talk. I'm driving right now, so I hope my reception's okay.
I can hear you.
I'm driving back from a talk that I gave. And if you look at my Talkadot scores, like the top line score, was this valuable was 90%.
Yeah.
The rebook rate was somewhere in the 80s. So that's why I ask. That's lower than what I normally get. So I don't know if that's you're like, hey, that's good, but I know for my typical scores that's a little bit lower.
So when you look at that presentation, was there anything that you noticed was a variable? Like, so for example, so this is what I do. If I get a lower score, I go, well, what's the variable? Was it a different audience? Was I doing new content? Was any of that true? Was it a new audience or new content?
Yeah, so number one, definitely the audience. I think it was a more challenge. So like my delivery there was nothing wrong with my delivery, same content. The only thing was, yeah, the audience was not exactly like my target audience. Mm-hmm. The event planner basically told me going in, like, understand that every person in this audience, like most people in this audience, like they're all really, really successful. Mm-hmm. And they all have huge egos, and they're all going to be pretty close-minded to what you have to say. So you have an uphill battle, but so it's going to be interesting to see how you do. So
who says that? It's like, hey, they're here's the firing squad, Adam. I hope you survive. Golly, Adam. Jeez Louise. That's
but but like afterwards, one guy emailed me and he sent me an email, and it was like a really interesting email, but he basically said, I really enjoyed your ideas. I think you have great content, but I think you need coaching in the way that you present. Like you should hire a coach and you should really spruce up your presentation and just deliver it better. Like work on your delivery, work on your presentation style, because you have potential and you could be better. And I read that and I was like, that's interesting. Like, should I listen to, and then I look at other comments, and the other comments, people are saying like, this is amazing, this is inspiring, this is incredible. And then I see other people who are like, this is terrible. You ripped this off of a TED Talk. I learned nothing. And then I look at my top line score and it's 90%. And my typical top line score is 95%. So I'm just trying to process all of this. And that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being transparent with it, right? So I think that what happens is if you start getting this, like, so the first thing I would do if I were in your shoes is say, is this my target audience, right? Because I spoke to a group of engineering students once at the University of Chicago. And this was earlier in my career where I did anything to get attention. I would jump on desks and jump on tables. Like I was trying to be like Odell Bazell. Like I'm not as like agile. And they were like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you a clown, right? And I was like, golly, I thought this was like good. But then I realized like, that's not my target demo. Like I wasn't trying to reach out to engineering students. So the first thing I would ask yourself is, this audience, is this my target demo? If it is my target demo, I've got to ask myself, well, what part of what they're saying is actually useful? If it's not my target demo, then like you kind of take it with a grain of salt. Because like I might find out, like I'm speaking to a bunch of concrete workers later this summer. I've never spoken to concrete workers before. They might be a bunch of, awesome people that don't like me. They might be a bunch of awesome people that like me. So if they're in my target demo, then like taking their feedback of, well, maybe the way I deliver to them, I do need to change it. I found that like when I speak to more technically trained people, I got to be really specific with what I say. If I'm speaking to more entry level people, I've got to have bigger ideas that are easy to grasp. So you start learning how to sharpening the saw based on the demographic. So if you're like, yes, I want to go after this audience around, then maybe there is feedback to say, well, who's the best at giving speaking coaching to this audience? Let me go to that coach, get feedback, and then they'd be like, yeah, this is why this audience isn't resonating with you. You've got to approach it this way. Or they might say, no, you're absolutely doing great. Like those are just people who are, in the firing squad. So I think it really depends on, do I want to go after them? And then is the feedback that they're giving me something I can take action with? And if it is, great. If it isn't, but if I keep getting feedback, Aurel, it's too boring. If I keep getting boring feedback, but they're not telling me why it's boring, then what I would do is look at my content and say, where am I teaching too much? Where should I bring in more interactions? Where should I bring in more parent shares? Or where should I bring in more activities? Then try that out and see if my score goes up. And then if I try those things out, my score goes up, then okay, I stick with it. So that's what I would recommend doing in that case.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, Odell. And I know we have a bunch of like great, I don't know if anyone has any like recommendations for other ways to approach that. But and then also we got a bunch of motivational speakers here. So there's gonna be a bunch of people that be like, don't worry what they say, baby. You do you and you be your best self, and everyone else is gonna have to they're gonna have to change themselves for you. You don't change yourself. Like we're motivational speakers, so we may get that. But if anyone has any like other feedback, I'd love to be actually throw it in the chat because Odell's been having his hand up. So if you have any other feedback,
I would love if anyone has any thoughts, any feedback. I would love that. And honestly, if I'm driving, so I can't read the chat, but if anyone has any thoughts, feedback, kind of the other question, which I know that probably everyone has grappled with at some point, is I have a very sort of like unique delivery, which is I get really good scores. So like 90 to 95% of every audience I speak to really likes it. But It's different than like a typical motivational speaker. I'm not like yelling and screaming and jumping on tables and throwing shit and telling people to do push-ups. And I think that
That's
just
actually my
doesn't.
whole keynote. That's all I do.
And I believe it. But the fact that I don't do that, I think, turns certain people off, because I have a more sort of like dialed down style. So I kind of wrestle with, is my personal style, which seems to work with the vast majority of the audiences I speak with. Should I just continue to lean into it, or should I listen to the feedback of the small percentage that it doesn't really connect with and try to adapt in some way? So I don't know if others have kind of gone through this journey and have feedback.
I think in general, you should never feedback is helpful to make 1% changes. But if someone told me, Aurel, you're too animated, like, well, that's part of my personality, so I can't turn that down. So you also have to know, like, I'm not going to be a Tony Robbins kind of presenter. I'm going to be more like a David Goggins. Like, David Goggins would be embarrassing if he tried to do something like Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins would be embarrassing if he tried to do something like, David Goggins would, right? So like, there's very different vibes. So knowing that, it's going to be like, honestly, I would say, like, your core audience will always resonate with you, and then the 1% changes. But if you keep getting the same kind of feedback from your core audience, or it's constantly mixed, look for the similarities and then ask yourself, where do I improve upon that?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course, Adam. Of course, it's a very, like, what you're bringing up is very important, because not everyone in the audience, like, everyone thinks that their message is the greatest like, my feedback is the greatest feedback in the world, and some people, especially if you were talking to, if your host said to you, they're gonna hate you, they're probably gonna want to fight you afterwards and jump you, good luck. You might be like, well, maybe this isn't the best, like, audience. Yeah, maybe it's not the best one. Okay. But anyway, let me go to Adele. But thank you so much, Adam. What's up, Adele?
Yeah, that's all good. I just had two quick thoughts for people doing outreach.
Yes.
Do a lot of it and don't stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when people, I'll send 100 emails, I send 300 emails, nobody responded. You got to do a lot of it and keep doing it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is connected to feedback. I'm glad Adam said that. Is as long as, I think Tim put it there, the most valuable feedback is people that are gonna bring you back or refer you or recommend you. So again, take it for a grain of salt, and also understand that we're professionals. So people that are gonna give you feedback, they might be having a bad day. They might have to go to the bathroom or something. It's so many things that humans go through when they're sitting watching a presentation. But just think about it. If you were trying to give LeBron James advice on basketball, he's a professional. You might say, I didn't like the game he played. Okay. So sometimes a lot of the feedback is that. And then the last thing, a Talkadot retreat. I'm just putting it out there in the atmosphere. We should do something like that. I just came back from my agency retreat this weekend, and the ability to come together as professionals who are in the same, this is lonely. It's a lonely business. So I just wanted to put that out there. Talkadot retreat. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, so we're gonna book this in Odell's backyard. He can fit 700 people in his house.
Hey, we just got a new crib, so let me know.
So his new house sleeps 700 people. So, but no, honestly, we would love, like, we've actually spoken about this internally, that as the community grows, like, doing in-person events and stuff would be really, really cool. Just for the retreat aspect of it, the bonding aspect of it. There's so much smart people here. So I really love that idea. I really, really, really love that idea. So we might watch out. And if anyone wants to do it in, like, Cancun, like, because this is the other thing, when you do retreats and stuff, people have to show up to it. So, like, I'm not about to book a resort and then y'all like, I ain't really going out to no Talkadot. I ain't really going out. I'm like, golly, you know how much it costs for us to reserve this spot, man? So if we know people will show up, like that, I would love to do that. Yeah, a meetup at Influence would be great. So I'm gonna be at Influence. Mimi does an incredible. Are you doing your Oasis event again, Mimi? Like where you bring people in with food and stuff? Okay.
Oh, I am.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe you had a great. I call those Oasis events where it's like not part of the schedule and it's like a little thing. So if anyone's gonna be at NSA, I don't know. Maybe we could crash Mimi's. I don't want to like. I don't want to be like everyone go to Mimi's. She got the cool spot. Then we put like 700 people in there. She's like, around none of these people are the people I actually want here. What are you doing? We'll figure something out. But yeah, definitely I'll be at Influence. So if you're gonna be at Influence, we should 100% all like connect and do something. I actually wanted to do something at Influence, but I didn't understand, and I'll probably understand this year. And so for next year, I definitely want to do something. I didn't know because I went to Influence for the first time last year, and Mimi invited me to her event, and I was like, I don't want to compete with people like Mimi. Like so I don't want people to be like, I got to choose between Mimi's event and Aurel's event. And then like people like, why you taking all the people to Rel, or I'm like, no one showed up to me because they went to. So I wanted to understand who does stuff and who does Oasis events, so I can find like maybe we do a breakfast or maybe we do a karaoke thing or something. So if I get a better sense of it from this year's Influence, we would definitely love to do something. If not, we're just all going to Frank Kitchen's suite because he's gonna have Frank Kitchen. I don't know if you know this. When Frank Kitchen goes to Influence, he rents out an entire floor of the hotel. So if you ever can't get on like the 11th floor, it's because Frank has every room because he likes options. Sometimes he wants a longer walk to the elevator. Sometimes he wants a shorter walk to the elevator. Okay, but thank you, Odell. And I will say this too. I will say one thing too about what Odell said. I can't stress enough when people say, yo, I tried it and it didn't work. And I know Odell is actually a really great teacher of cold outreach. If anyone doesn't know about Odell, he's excellent at he's built a very successful speaking business from doing cold contacting and cold outreaching. So I'm sure I could interview Odell on all of his strategies. He's really, really talented at that. And he's so right. People will say things to you, Odell, like, I tried your strategy, Odell, it didn't work. Well, how many people did you reach out to? 200? It's like 200. That's nothing. You're expecting 200 people. Like, you got to think like they've got to be in the right mindset, the right timing, the right thing. Like it's a, like send like 50 a day for like 2 months, right? Then come back, right? Like, and if you don't get one, okay, let's revisit it. But if you send 200, you send 200 emails in 2 days. And then consistency over time. So there's a lots of things about outreach. Just anyway, so I think people give up too quickly, and it works. Like literally, multi-million-dollar businesses, $100 billion businesses are built on cold outreach. Like it works. Okay, Doris.
Hi. Okay, I have a quick question that I was speaking this past Friday at a business analyst conference, and I was the keynote speaker, and there were several workshops, and all of us speakers sat together around the table, and 3 of us had Talkadot. And I, of course, I was going to do Talkadot because I was the closing keynote and everything. And one of them said, unless I am a keynote speaker or I know that I'm the only one leading a workshop, I'll use it. But I feel like when there's different workshops, there's like 3 sessions at any hour and there's like 20 speakers, then I think it's overused Talkadot. And I never thought about that. So I was wondering, what do you think? Because I'm thinking for a second from the perspective of a keynote speaker, right? If I'm in the closing of the day and I'm doing the Talkadot, and let's say those people went through every hour and every single workshop had Talkadot, they come to me and they're like exhausted. It's like, oh my God, we're not feeling it one more time. So what is your take on that? Did you ever experience that?
Yeah.
I had 100% success. The satisfaction, and 92% want me to come back. It was great results. What I got was great, with several leads also. But I was wondering, and I don't think the other 2 speakers did the Talkadot after our conversation. Maybe one of them did, but one of them for sure did not. So what's your take on that?
Yeah. Number one, I can't tell you how happy I am that you just had that happen. First of all, the fact that people are like, we're all using it and sitting down. Wow. Like that's amazing. First of all. So thank you. That's great. Number 2, this is the exact reason that we made Talkadot. So many people make decisions based on their gut. When you make decisions based on your gut, you're either lucky or you're wrong. So they go, my gut tells me I don't want to do it, so they don't try it. So they have no idea, and feel free to tell me if you want to tell me who these people are so I can reach out to them. But the thing is, when we make decisions based on our gut and not data, you'll be surprised at how many times your gut is wrong. So if 3 people use it and they go, well, I think people are gonna like not take mine because they took it earlier, so I'm not gonna try it. Well, like try it. Like the best answer I could give to those speakers is actually, like, I would love to be in a position where all 3 of you use it. Now, we've had conferences use our feedback after every single session. Morning keynote, multiple workshops, keynote, lunch session, and they've used it the whole day and they've gotten results the entire day. So like I can tell you from data, that's not an issue. That's not an issue. I mean, Fred, he throws conferences. He has like 12 speakers speak at a time. So
as a matter of fact, Ariel, you're right. I actually told the organizers at the business analyst conference that they did not know about you. And so I said, I'm going to connect you because I think for your next conference, you should have it in your portal. They have their own thing where you put it in Google Forms and stuff. And they gave it to the attendees. I know they gave it to the attendees. I asked the people there to do it as part of my, I learned from you. And I was like, before I leave, anybody got? And everybody raised their hands. And then I did the thing. And then I finished with my mantras. So that was good for me. But I was wondering, what is it if I were like the 3rd workshop breakout? Will that be good, not good, overdoing it, not, just in general, I was thinking. Yeah. And I wanted to tell Adam that everybody, and I am a motivational speaker, so I'm not going to actually do the motivation. I'm just going to share with you that we can't please everybody. After this talk that I gave on Friday, one person reported on the Talkadot. He said, I felt that there was a little religious undertone to what you said, because for the first time in my life, I sang in Hebrew to a non-Jewish audience, and I was wondering how it's going to land. And most of them, except one person, said that it was absolutely magnificent. So, one person thought overtone. Okay, whatever. If you feel in your heart that you didn't, then you go with that.
And that's the important thing when you're trying out something new, when you're trying out, like, you've never, sung in Hebrew before. So I'm going to try it out. What does the audience say? Like, so now you can actually get that feedback. And whenever you try something new, it's never going to be perfect, right? So you might want to, and again, if I'm in your shoes and I'm like, I might want to sing in Hebrew, which I can't. I can say Toda Rabah, and that's about where it ends, right? But if I was going to sing in Hebrew, I was like, hey, I'd love to sing a song for you in Hebrew. And then I might address, Hebrew is my primary language. I was born in Israel, for those of you who don't know. So I want to sing you a song that's in my mother language. I might do a little preamble to why I'm choosing it. And then maybe that like alleviates the problem or something.
I did. I mean, it was part of a gratitude little piece that I did to be grateful. And so I did that. And I've sang that a million times to Jewish audiences, but not ever to a non-Jewish audience. And it was kind of cool.
Exactly. And I like the fact that we are stepping out and trying new things. I think that's the beauty of being in this space, is we can find new ways to connect and impact people. And with Talkadot, we can measure it. And if you get like this large, like, there's always those things that you want to try that make you scared, like, ooh, I'm like gonna like share this part of me that I've not shared before. So you get that feedback, and then, if it feels good, own it. And go with it, because you're not going to make everyone happy. Like, when people find out, I don't know if you know this, that I'm Jewish, right? So people don't know that. And then people might find out I'm Jewish, and then that becomes the thing. And I was like, well, you're anti-Semitic. I can't do anything about your anti-Semitism. Like, you have to live with yourself. I have to live with me. But I'm not going to make my beliefs now better than yours. I would never do that. So like, knowing that when you bring certain aspects of yourself out, it will offend or whatever. But like, if you're not doing it to be like, we're better, I'm better, as long as we don't do that, let them live.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing.
For sure. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for that. So anyway, what I would say is, to answer your previous question, just to summarize, do it anyway, try it, see what the data says. If you normally get like, 60% of the audience to give you feedback, and you do it and you get 12% of the audience to give you feedback, well, then that's really good. Like, yeah, maybe there was something there, but we haven't seen it. And I think it's just an emotion thing. And again, when we make decisions based on emotions, we're either lucky or wrong. Thank you, Doris. Mimi.
I just wanted to piggyback off what a couple other people said, just about the feedback piece. Take it with a grain of salt. Have your core folks that you can go to. And most important part is, who paid you ask the meeting planner, were they happy with that's the person writing the check. So that's where I get a lot of the feedback. And then Aurel, I think you said it really well, which is what's the baseline? So knowing where you start, if you tried something new, and then just kind of roll with it and let it roll off your back.
Yeah, and it's really important because we're always I always like to like try one or two new, like even to this day, I'm always trying one or two new things. Like just to be like, let me tell this story differently. That's how the dad jokes came about. Like I said, let me try a dad joke. And I was scared, but then people kept coming up to me and I had so many people telling me dad jokes at the end. I told one dad joke and I was like, oh, maybe I should tell more of this nerdy side. And now I've got like 3 more excellent bangers because of Mimi. I'm gonna be like, you heard about the cheese grater? Cheese grater, great responsibilities, because I can't say it right, but it's good. I like it. So I'm gonna say it. So anyway, thank you. Sharon.
I just wanted to speak to the question about overusing Talkadot in one conference.
Mhm.
And I think from the user's perspective, they're in a different session. And what we're saying to them is, hey, if you want my little thing, then just fill out this form. And so for them, it's like they're getting something out of doing it. I don't think that we can, I don't think we have to be worried about how they're feeling about it, because listen, first of all, they always have the option of not doing it if they don't want it. And secondly, usually if they feel really moved by whatever you just shared, that's their way to reciprocate. They're like, okay. And it's not like, oh, I'll do it later. It's like everybody's doing it right now. So I think people just get into the flow of filling the stuff out, and they do get that incentive at the end. So I wouldn't worry about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then Doris, I would love to know which song you're singing to them.
I sang to them the Modani. Modani, na, 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 na. That's what I sang.
Nice. And I really did not know you were Jewish, so that's very cool.
We just all learned something today.
Yes, we did.
I'm gonna be on your podcast. I submitted my form to you, Sharon. You saw that?
You submitted the form, but you didn't schedule a day, so we still need your schedule.
Damn it! I keep thinking I'm succeeding in life, and then I always remember there's one more step I need to take.
One more step, baby. That's it. You're so close.
I'm so close. All right, I'm gonna do that when we hang up from here. I got you. Thank you for that. Let me take my note here. Golly, I was about to be like, see, Sharon, I did it. See, you did a good job.
You did most of the work. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'll finish it up.
Almost there.
Thank you. Jasmine.
Hi, just to follow up on that comment, and I'm driving, but I'm parked right now. Yeah. I had a recent experience with Talkadot where very positive reviews. I want to say 97, 99%. And then the bureau partner reached out to me and was like, yeah, you and the other speaker I booked, the opening speaker and the closing speaker, it was mixed feedback. Either they loved you or they hated you, according to the event survey. And so then when we did, and she was actually there, which was wonderful, because I said, well, what did you think? And she's like, I thought it was great. And the people I was looking at, they were really engaged. And I said, well, when did the client do their survey? When did the client send out their survey? Because my feedback, which I shared with you and the client, and you actually experienced, it was right in the moment while it was top of mind, not when they were back at the office and they received an email and they were dealing with whatever. And so I think that's a saving grace, or a key benefit for Talkadot too, that it's real time, right in the moment, not an afterthought after you've been home or life has hit you.
And here's the other thing, which I think is real, what you're saying, right? I'm Aurel, and let's say Fred also spoke at the same event. Aurel sucked, but it's like 7 days later and I'm filling out the feedback form, and I might be giving Fred feedback based on what Aurel said, because I'm confusing. Like, I remember they were both brown guys with beards, but Fred's beard was way more luxurious than Aurel's. But I remember I didn't like what Aurel said, and then they conflude and they bond us together. So sometimes what happens when people give negative feedback days later is they're actually confusing you for someone else, or they're like I was on 3 sessions and I mashed them all together in my head. So that's why it is important to get that, like you were saying, Jess, that feedback in the moment, because that's the most unbiased, like the gut reaction. If I hated it, I can give that gut reaction. If I loved it, I can give it, and it doesn't get conflated over time as well. So I really appreciate you sharing that. All right, Gina.
Hey, yeah, just real quick. I appreciate that last comment too. That is very helpful. I wanted to find out what you guys do for incentives or offers. Like, how often do you change them up? If there's like any sort of best practice, I guess. I know there's no rule. But what do you do? How often do you do that? I'm getting rebooked for the same group quite often, and I feel like I need to have something different to give them. So that's one thought, but I just want to hear your take on that.
So if it's the same group, I don't give away the same thing more than once, right? So for example, if I'm doing a presentation and I go, hey, I got like 7 questions that you can ask to be more awesome. And I give it to them presentation 1, and I've got like 4 more presentations. I won't give away those same questions again personally, because I'm like, they already got it. If they want it, they'll email me and ask me for it if they, want it again. Typically what I do, my easy, and I'm going to answer then open it up to everyone. My easy peasy lemon squeezy thing is I just take my slides and turn them into PDFs. And I say, here's a copy of my slides. That's like my easy peasy lemon squeezy one. If I do something that's more involved, I give away like a summary, like I have a video summary. I've given away my ebook. So typically if it's a new audience, I've been using the same giveaway for a year now, and I haven't changed it. If it's a repeat audience, I'll try to give away something that's different personally, but I'm happy to open it up to hear how other, because like there's so many different ways to skin a cat. I don't know why we skin cats. I don't know why we do that. I don't know why we say that. I'm gonna not use that moving forward, but there's a lot of different ways to fry a fish. Okay, Sharon and Fred, are you responding to Gina? If anyone wants to respond to Gina, you could just unmute yourself, because I think that's more of an unmute than a hand raise.
I was going to respond to the previous comment about getting the different feedback from Talkadot and from the organization.
Yeah.
My theory, because that happened to me too, my theory is that the people that don't like you don't fill out the Talkadot, so Talkadot doesn't come through. And then when they're filling out the other, it's like, oh, now I'm going to let them know, because they don't think that we're going to see it. They're letting the organization know, right? So when I did my talk, I got the Talkadot stuff and it was pretty good. And then I got, I don't know, maybe like 3 weeks later, the organization emailed me their thing. And again, it was pretty good. But then you'd have like these people that would come out and say some things. So for instance, one of the questions was like, what could have made this presentation better? And somebody wrote a different presenter. So I was like, okay. Right.
Did you get a 100% on your value and rebooking rating?
What's that?
On Talkadot, did you get a 100%, or was there like 92% value, 93%?
Yeah, it was like 92 or whatever. So
yeah, that was probably the like,
like it's good enough.
That was that 8%.
But I think the point is that probably the person who wrote that on the feedback for the organization probably did not fill out Talkadot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's my theory, but do with it what you will.
Totally could be. I appreciate you sharing that.
Can I just add one thing to that right quick? Because I know that a couple of times when I've been doing things that the client has said, gosh, you've gotten a better return or participation rate on your thing than we did on our survey. So I'm not sure about that. I would ask that following up question, because I know I've repeatedly heard that when I go over it with clients, that my numbers of participants is better than they got from their survey.
Yeah, for sure.
And it might also just be that they've already given you the feedback, so they don't want to give it to you again. And the people that held back maybe are now coming forward. So who knows?
Word.
Yeah.
All right, so let me do this, because we are getting to the top of the hour. If anybody wants to answer Gina's question on how often you change your slide up, please post that in the chat right now. I do want to get your feedback on our session today. The one that if you're watching this part of the recording as a recording, you didn't see. So for those of you who attended live and you want to get your leads, please let me know what you thought about today's training. And I love where these like organically go, by the way. These questions actually, like, I think they're so beautiful and wonderful to ask. So if you type in, and let me type it into the chat here, HTTP, let me do the actual, hold on, question mark, actual code here. Hold on. Hold on, where'd it go? Wait a minute. I'm gonna grab the link and post it right now. Oh, let me just type it in. Hold on. Talk.ac/ there we go. Post it in the chat so it's right. All right. Out of curiosity, by a show of hands, did anyone find this session valuable? We talked about leads, we talked about stuff. Was this valuable? Oh my gosh. Well, listen, if it was, I'd love to know what your thoughts were. So in the chat, you can see I put a link. You can click on that link and it goes to a very, very quick feedback flow. It's super quick, super easy. Would love to know what you thought about this presentation. I want to know what you liked about it so I can do more of it. I want to know what you disliked about it so I can improve upon it. And the only way I can get better and do better for folks like you is by hearing from folks like you. If you've got your phones, you can take out your camera app and scan the QR code right there on the screen. But it's super quick, super easy. And as a thank you for giving me your feedback, I'm going to give you a list of 200 people that are booking speakers right now. So if you'd like to get that list of 200 people, it'll come as a Google spreadsheet. So you can just copy it, edit it, email people. We have the email template as well that you have access to. So you can literally take that email template, reach out to the people that are appropriate for you, and let's see if we can get you some talks. So do me a favor, take a couple of moments, fill it out. You'll also notice that I added a question in the Talkadot flow that says, what other things would you like to learn about? So if there's any other thing that you'd like to learn about, please let us know. And then when you are done giving your feedback, please type done in the chat so I know that you are done, because I know we're at the top of the hour here. So if you've got to roll out, by all means, I respect that, and roll out, just still give your feedback, please. For everyone else, just type done in the chat when you're done, and I will leave you with one final thought before we go. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Dr. Kate. Rabah Sharon. That's all I got. I can't go past that. Thank you, Holly. Shout out to Frank Kitchen, always cooking up some good stuff.
Arel, thank you. Great talk. I'm not protesting your Talkadot. I just can't fill it out while driving.
All good, man. All good. Thank you, brother. Kind of reminds me of my math teacher who said I was average. I responded by saying, well, that's just mean. That's a math joke. Said I was average. Mean. Okay, Frank gets it. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. Did you hear about the semicolon that got sent to prison? Serving 2 consecutive sentences.
Ariel, I finished it on my phone instead of the thing, but I don't know how to copy this and put it in my email so I can open it on my computer, because there's no room on my phone for this large document.
Who is talking right now? I can't see who's talking. Who said that?
It's Doris.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm doing it on my phone.
I'm gonna email this out. I'm emailing this to everyone, by the way.
Perfect.
So,
okay, because
yeah.
I can't access it from here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll email it. If you don't have the app on your phone, it's a whole thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to re-record the content. So I'm gonna re-record the content and then send the email with the link and also the resources we covered here today. So there'll be an email that'll have everything. So you'll be good.
Okay.
You know, Doris, I was about to tell a chemistry joke, but I didn't know if it would get a reaction.
Say it.
That was the joke. Reaction. It's kind of like my construction joke. I'm still working on it. What kind of conversation do two artichokes have? A heart to heart.
Between you and Mimi, I mean, you guys, very tight competition there.
Mimi is she's my sister from another mister with the dad jokes.
I've been telling people about the benefits of eating dried grapes, raising awareness.
All right, we have to have a dad joke, mom joke off. Me and Mimi at our next session. We're gonna go back.
I want to see it in at the influence conference.
Me and Mimi are gonna do one of those videos where I can't laugh at her jokes and she can't laugh at mine, and we have to keep a straight face.
Yes.
And then we're gonna tell each other jokes, and whoever laughs the most loses. And then I think that would be amazing because I know Mimi got some bangers she hasn't even shared yet. For example, what's the first thing the taxi driver said to the wolf? Werewolf.
Well, I used to work for a circus. I was a human cannonball until they fired me.
Ooh.
Well
okay, if you need a referee, I'll be there. I volunteer. I'll count how many smiles and laughs happen.
That was really good. Have you ever done blindfolded archery, Mimi? You don't know what you're missing.
Oh, I've never seen the inside of my ears, but I've heard good things.
That was really good. That was really good. The other day somebody stole my antidepressant pills. I hope they're happy.
Oh God. Oh God. I went to a bookstore the other day and I saw a book titled How to Solve 50% of the Problems. I bought 2.
What's okay, this is one I'm trying to workshop. I can't tell if this one is slightly offensive. So I'm gonna workshop this one. I don't think it is, but I also want to be respectful. So here we go. Now I'm uncomfortable. Okay. What kind of pronouns does chocolate prefer? Hershey.
Oh.
I don't think it's offensive. It's like borderline maybe. I don't hurt nobody. What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot.
Why didn't the melon get married?
Why?
It cantaloupe.
Ooh.
It cantaloupe.
Why do horses have low divorce rates?
Why?
They have stable relationships.
Did you know that I was finally able to weigh a rainbow? Turns out it's pretty light.
Oh, but
Pretty light. It's pretty. Did you hear about the rainbow that got arrested? It went to prison.
Well, I hired a handyman the other day and I gave him a list. When I got done, he only had done items 1, 3, and 5. Turns out he only does odd jobs.
Damn it, those are so good. What do you call Yoda in 4K? HDMI?
What do you call friends you like to eat with?
What?
Taste buds.
Mmm.
Mm.
What happens when a football player loses his eyesight?
I don't
He
know.
becomes a referee.
Did you hear about the cartoonist found dead in his home? The
No.
details are sketchy.
How did the hamburger introduce his wife? Meat patty.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Been trying to break up with my ophthalmologist. It's been really hard. Every time I tell him I can't see anymore, he moves he inches closer and says, "How about now?"
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on. How come you can't see elephants hiding in trees?
Oh no.
Because they're good at it. That's why you haven't seen it. Because they're good at it.
Gotta work on that one.
That's not. These ain't all gonna be winners, okay? These ain't all gonna be winners.
I'm starting a new business to teach short people math. It's called Making the Little Things Count.
Do you think in Hawaii they like loud laughter? I actually heard they prefer aloha.
Oh, boo. Did you hear about the guy who cut off the left side of his body? He's all right now.
What do you call a cow that just gave birth? Decaffeinated.
What do you call an angry carrot? A steamed vegetable.
Ooh. You know, the other day I was trying to explain to my 4-year-old son that it's perfectly normal for you to poop your pants, but he still kept making fun of me.
Okay, that one went, oh. What did the triangle say to the circle?
What?
You're pointless.
That's factual. I mean, that's just, that's
I think you're losing people. Okay, last one. Oh, go ahead.
I just watched a documentary on beavers. It was the best damn program I've ever seen.
Well, my dog accidentally ate or swallowed a whole set of Scrabble tiles. We took him to the vet to get checked out. No word yet.
Good.
Funny.
What do you call a line of rabbits marching backwards? A receding hairline.
This morning, I coughed up 3 pounds a night and a bishop. I think I have a chest infection.
I think we're gonna have to end here. I'll leave you with this. This one's so bad. This is the worst one. This isn't good. Okay. How come the toilet paper did not cross the road?
Fine.
Got stuck in a crack.
Oh, okay. Last one. This is gonna, I'll do yours. Okay. So I woke up last night to find the ghost of Gloria Gaynor standing at the foot of my bed. At first I was afraid. Then I was petrified.
Maybe we are related. We're related, and we need to reunite. I'm gonna come back. Jasmine, do you have a dad joke or mom joke? I was just driving. All right, we're gonna go. What do you call a cow?
The melon joke. That's my only joke that I had. The melon joke.
That was good.
So I am sorry for interrupting. I thought everybody was sharing a joke because I was getting out the car. So apologies.
No,
you're good.
It's like, what do you call a cow spying on another cow?
What?
A stakeout.
Oh,
Give me one more, then we'll go. Give me one more.
okay. My friend was showing me his tool shed and pointing to a ladder. That's my step ladder, he said. I never knew my real ladder.
Why you gonna make us end on that one? Why you gonna?
Okay, last one. When I was little, my parents always fed me alphabet soup, claiming that I liked it, but they were just putting words in my mouth.
And
We're here all night, folks. Try the veal. It's great.
wait, what did you say?
I said we're here all night, folks. Try the veal.
Oh.
It's great.
I'm gonna gracefully bow to the champion. That is Mimi. Gracefully bowing to the champion. That is Mimi Brown, CSP. Good night, everyone.
Good night.